Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
We are grateful for all of y'all.
Thank you for
joining us. Okay, so here's tonight's topic. Again, for those who, so they didn't hear me say, the reason I have on the NYPD shirt and hat is to commemorate the valiant and heroic people in New York City, the officers, fire and police officers, who ran into a burning building that was the
9/11.
9/11, 22 years.
22nd year.
Who went into the
for honoring what?
The World Trade Center and to rescue people and perished. Many of them perished. So we want to
3,000, at least 3,000, more than 3,000 lost their lives.
So commemorate the heroic work of the New York Fire Department, New York Police Department on that day 22 years ago. So that's why I'm wearing this shirt and hat in their honor. Okay, let's talk about tonight's topic. And I might as well just tell you where it came from. This morning, I was on my way to the gym, and I usually don't get to hear this because I'm in the gym, but I was running a little late. I heard Steve Harvey's and the Strawberry Letter. There's a show on for those who don't know that on the Steve Harvey show they do a Strawberry Letter, and Shirley Strawberry is the kind of host of this segment. And what she does is she takes this letter and usually take a letter and she'll give her opinion and Steve Harvey will give his opinion. But this morning was a very unique show because Shirley Strawberry shared her own personal drama with a husband who she'd been married to, I think she said 7 years, who is in jail for extortion or all sorts of stuff. Had a mistress and she and it was bad enough from her point of view that had all of this drama in her marriage. But then she made an error and talked to her husband on the phone at the jail. And during their discussion, she said some things that were not complimentary of Steve Harvey and his wife. And that was a year ago. This guy's been in jail for a year. A year later, someone from the jail, Fulton County, Atlanta, I'm gonna call him out. Somebody in that jail released the audio to a blogger who blew it up. She said some things over the phone to her husband that was not complimentary about Steve Harvey and his wife, Marjorie. And it was released recently, a year later, to a blogger who put it out on the internet. And that just adds fuel to all these other rumors that people have been saying about Steve Harvey's wife, that she helped to break up his marriage and she was a gold digger and all these other things. And Steve Harvey, I was very impressed. I had to stop and listen, which is something I regularly don't do, but I had to stop and listen to this because it was so profound. And he said, let me make it clear. People have said we're breaking up, our marriage is in trouble, all lies, all lies. He said, let me tell you about my wife. First, she had nothing to do with the breakup of my last marriage. That was way gone before I even met her. I had been divorced for almost a year when I connected with her. And then she wanted to get back together. I had been fired from wanted to get together. I proposed to her, but she wanted to marry quickly. I said, I got to get my life together. I got fired from my radio job in Los Angeles. He had lost his television show at that point, and he was broke. And he said, I was broke. And she said, here's what I love. He said, Marjorie said, let's get married now, even when you're not wealthy, even when, because we're in this together. We're in this foxhole together. And he said, he said, she told him, we're going to pull this up together, the two of us. And they went to work. And he got a little radio opportunity. And the radio with, I can't remember the network, but he only started with 4 stations. Well, now they got the whole country. And then he got Family Feud. Then he got his daily talk show. Then he got the Judge show. And he said, all of this happened because my wife had my back. And I said to Dee when I got in, I said, you've had my back. The whole time, this whole journey, many of you know I was blessed to get to receive the Capit Award, the highest award in the speaking industry in July, in the National Speakers Association. And I told people it was because Dee had my back. When I said I'm going to quit my job and become a full-time speaker, she said, let's do it. When I said I'm going to go from the youth market where I was speaking for a little bit of money, but it was starting to peter out because they were having a lot of government regulations, I said, I'm going to move to the big market, the grown-ups. She said, let's do it. When I said, I'm going to write a book and we're going to give it a shot, she said, let's do it. Every time I've come to her with the idea, she said, let's do it. She's had my back each and every day, each and every way. So I say to all of you that sometimes you got to have people who have your back. Well, what do you do? How do you feel like your spouse has your back? And that's the question we wanted to talk about. Do you feel like your spouse has got your back? Now, when I brought that topic up to our team, great conversations came out of that, because Dee said, well, does that mean have your back financially? I know Cheryl said financially, and you said emotionally.
Emotionally.
Do they have your back emotionally?
So you can have someone who pays the bill, but then there's no ongoing communication.
Or, like somebody we recently were with, they had a relationship where the wife never supported.
A marriage where when they got married, she was financially stable and he was still living at home with his parents.
Right.
So she provided that stability, but never supported him in terms of his training and development activities.
His business.
Or his business, even attended, and was an agnostic. And he is such a blooming Christian.
Well, he was a Christian early. He was a man of faith. He was very active.
Brought up an only child in a very Christian household.
Right. And because of her influence, he stopped being involved.
His influence over her was greater than his.
Her influence
over him was greater than his influence over her, in terms of spiritual development.
And then when, unfortunately, she passed, but it took him a few years, but he found a church and he is so excited. And he's blooming and blossoming. You can just see it. And so he talked about the fact that his wife, who was his good friend, never supported him in his business. Never had his back in his business, in the sense of encouraging him. She never.
Maybe she didn't understand.
Okay. Let's see.
Whatever the reason is.
We got some good comments here. Vaughn Williams says, yes, my spouse is mine, and I got here. Thank you, God. My husband is my king, and I am his queen. Know who you are in your marriage. Amen. And I tell people all the time, Dee treats me like a king, and I treat her like a queen, and she treats me like a king. And we have a great relationship, a great marriage.
A sense of humor is important. I was saying that earlier.
Yes. Some people on Instagram are saying most times their spouse treats them, has their back. Well, what are some of the things that we talk about when we talk about this is important, because sometimes people don't have their spouse's back. Now, what do you do when you don't have it? Now, let's go back.
So how do you know what might be some symptoms
that somebody doesn't have for that?
Yeah. How do you know that?
Well, I guess let's just take what we know as examples that we can point to. This guy,
Our friend. Mm-hmm.
His wife never went to one of his speeches ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good symptom. I mean, pretty good example that.
But she made more money than he.
Well, she took care of a lot of the bills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and another one might be we've had people in different business units or business places where we've been over there where the spouse has no conversation about their careers, their business, what they're doing. Couldn't care less. Or agnostic to their career. Mm-hmm. Not just agnostic to their
spiritually,
faith, but agnostic. I couldn't care less about it. Mm-hmm. We got to go. We're okay, but I don't care. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, what happened when you try and share your dreams, your goals, and they're not accepted, or they're not encouraged, or they're not?
Well, okay. Why don't you say you don't have a? How do you know if you're not emotionally involved? You don't have a. They don't talk to you about, or you don't listen.
I got another one where the guy paid all the bills. He paid all the bills. He was a good provider, but there was no communication.
You feel like you're alone in the relationship?
Oh, hello.
Okay. Or you prefer to spend time, either one of you. You prefer to spend time alone or reading or doing something else that does not involve your spouse.
Like sending your spouse away on a vacation?
Okay.
And you go by yourself?
Yes.
All right. Mm-hmm. So Yvonne said here, talk about the goals, dreams, what you both want to accomplish. Exactly. That's a great one, Yvonne.
So that means communication.
You got to communicate.
Everything goes back to communication.
Sandra said if it's not established in the beginning, it would not be a focus during the union. Unless you can help to grow their focus. Now, that's one of the things we want people to understand. That initially, some people just don't come from a background, a household, a family.
They might not come from that kind of culture. Where people talk about their dreams and goals and where they're going.
So that's why we write in the book, you must cleave, and weave. Leave your parents, cleave together, and weave a new culture. A new relationship.
But that requires talking about it.
And it requires
sometimes we stumble into a marriage for all the other things that you talk about, for all the reasons, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you might share bank accounts.
Yep.
And you share a bed.
Yep.
But you don't really talk about what's important to you.
Yeah, sometimes.
And then ask the question, what's important to you? And how can I help you get there?
Yeah.
Or how can we help each other achieve the goals that are important?
And support each other in the process.
Mm-hmm.
I got your back. Because you want to be in the foxhole with somebody who got your back. I'm in the foxhole with her. We back to back. We are fighting every day. We fighting. I loved when he said that. My wife is in the foxhole with me. And I wouldn't want anybody else in the foxhole with me. I said, that's my wife.
That's what he came in saying. I was like, what are you talking about?
I said, you're in the foxhole. I'm foxhole.
I know we fight the outside world every day.
Yes. Yeah, we going after our goals and dreams. And that's exactly right. We have been fighting for our goals and dreams now in this business for 30-some years. And before
Lord
that,
have mercy.
We were working on my music business. And
he's creative, and we're very different. He's creative and on bottom line. And Miss Cheryl said today, as we were talking about this subject, right?
Yes.
That we bring different gifts to the table. And what love and compassion is not mine in the business arena.
Yeah. Now, Yvonne, you asked a question, but I gotta push back on your question. She said, well, how did marriage come about with this couple if you didn't have a conversation? Let me tell you something.
About what?
You gotta be careful about what they conversating about, because some marriages they conversating about, can we get in the bed quicker? How quick can we get in that bed? Woo, you look good. Woo, woo. I don't care about nothing but the fact that you look good. Boom, boom, bam, bam. And that's true. Some men or some women, they don't talk about the important things, the money, the family, the situation, their spiritual position, their values, their goals, how they're going to live their life. They're just thinking about the smarter stuff.
I think we sometimes stumble into it. Now, before we got married, we were best friends.
Yes.
So we didn't actually go down the checklist. It's in hindsight when William, our son, asked us, I want you to talk to my friends about how y'all communicate, because they don't believe I've never seen my parents argue or disagree or whatever. But when you analyze where we are, is that we had the same values.
Yes.
And we had mutual respect. Now, I didn't have that checklist like I would offer now, but I was very fortunate. And we became best friends first.
Yes.
And talked about everything.
Right.
Right?
And one do know if I like that. I thank God for my wife. Amen. I thank God daily for my wife, and I pray for her every day. And I thank her for all the. I thank God for all.
But that doesn't necessarily happen.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily happen. You know, I was married before. That did not happen in terms of being on the same page, because I think what I was looking for was different. I was right out of college. There's something you do everybody gets married. That was on my checklist. Check
it off. Okay.
A job.
My man Ricky Terry, God bless you, man. Thank you for that comment.
So there's a level of sophistication in terms of our horizons are broad now, and what our program does is present to people, here are things that you should be thinking about.
Yes, right.
That will help you. So this is not just for people, okay, now I'm married and I'm totally jacked up. How can I communicate and fix some of this? But it's great. This is great for people who are thinking about it. Okay, I'm thinking about this person. I wonder how they relate to their finances. Think about that.
Right. Well, Sandra Floyd Miller says, often growth, individual or collective, goals are not a priority because the parties have not been around others who have demonstrated that focus. Absolutely. They've been around people who focus on, look, you can major on the minors or minor in the majors, okay? And that's what most people do. They major in the minors and they minor in the majors. The important stuff they don't dwell on. They don't talk about.
Sometimes
they don't focus on
that. You have to be careful in saying that, because people might think, if you say, I wonder what this person's goals are. I want to be around somebody who's going in this direction. 20 years from now, I want to have this. And sometimes people make other people feel bad that they've got standards that they want to meet.
Well, you need to get rid of people.
I'm not
you can't hang around those people. Who you hang around and who you become, okay, good or bad. So we hung around her parents. Okay, her parents were a model for marriage for us. Now, my mom and dad, I was a kid. I was 12 when my dad died. I mean, I had a little bit, but I wasn't focused on that. But when
you were not conscious.
I wasn't conscious of that and had no idea my dad was going to die. He died suddenly. Now, my in-laws, though, I studied them.
But that brings out a level of growth and development where you would focus in on and watch their interaction. So the second time around, I paid, well, how come my first marriage was not like my parents? How about communication? So I figured out all the things that I had done wrong, right? And just like I was saying to Cheryl this morning, what we see often with our families, our parents, my parents, is you see a nice finished product.
Right.
But you don't see the struggle that went into. And so we don't know what kinds of questions, how did y'all work that out? How did you decide to live with 3 sets of families in one household with 1 bathroom? Because they talked about it and said, if we all lived together, 3 brothers married 3 sisters, and 2 of them had 2 kids each, but we will live together in one house with 1 bathroom because we can save money and each person will buy their land and then they would build a house. They had conversations.
And they worked together.
They all worked together.
Oh, that's fantastic. My dear friend Scarlett Hart says, we both have each other as well as, without malice, call each other out on our shenanigans, okay? We do it without malice. That's very important, Scarlett, that we do it, say, hey, hold up. We laugh it out, what you said earlier.
I was saying earlier.
You laugh it out and figure out what is best for our family. We were talking about just because we came on air.
My cousin,
Marita and Larry.
And
Larry Campbell.
Retired super military colonel something.
He was a commander, base commander.
So much fun to be around. And
they're laughing all the time. They're laughing.
They enjoy each other
all the time. We're with them. They're in Durham, North Carolina. Shout out to them. She and her daughter are going to be the first mother-daughter Mary Kay $1 Million earners in history. They both got pink Cadillacs down in Durham, North Carolina. But they just laugh all the time.
They enjoy each other.
Her brother-in-law, her brother and sister-in-law laugh all the time. Our friends,
they have a sense of humor.
Brad and Terry Thomas. Terry said that one of the secrets to their success is they laugh. Scarlett is right on. And then when there's something wrong, you do the 4 F's. By calling out, you tell the 4 F's. So for those who don't know, in the book, everybody should have the book. If you don't have the book, you need to get 2 copies.
But they can get a short version by
get a free chapter.
At TED Talk too, right?
Oh yeah, go to TED Talk at jollymarriage.com. It tells you the 4 F's.
It's only
12 minutes.
4 minutes.
All right, 4 F's. Be friendly. Be frank about your feelings. Be fair. Listen to their side and be focused on a win-win. Be friendly. Be frank about your feelings. Be fair. Listen to their side and focus on a win-win. You do that in every part of your relationship, in difficult conversations, when there's some need to call out shenanigans or gotta share it. Intentions.
Oh my God, he's so dramatic.
Intentions. We were at a wedding last week, and I have never heard this before, and I thought it was so profound, and we got to use this. The bride and groom were asked a question by the officiant. Said, might you ever cause your spouse pain? And the groom said, I might. Was that your intention? No, it is not. Said to the bride, might you ever make your spouse angry? She said, I might. Would that be your intention? No, it's not my intention, never my intention. And it was so profound that things happen in marriages. People get upset. People's feelings get hurt. The difference between the experience that you were angry, mad, hurt, disgusted, disappointed, and the intention of your partner. And that's where the power is. What is my intention to hurt your feelings? I'm sorry. Say I'm sorry.
Quickly.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. That was not my intention. Something was said. That was not my intention. It might have been said, but that was not my intention. The difference between the experience, the act.
And then I think you have to be honest, because sometimes people do want to hurt.
Yeah, sometimes.
The people they love.
Yeah, sometimes when they fight dirty. We talk about that in the book. They don't fight fair. And we talk about how to get past. Look, we are so grateful that so many people are calling, saying they read the book. The book has impacted them. We want to encourage everybody to go to JolleyMarriage.com. Watch the TED Talk. Tell everybody you know.
You watch the TED Talk first, then you'll want to get the book.
Yeah, that's great. But tell everybody you know who's married to watch that TED Talk. 12 minutes can enhance or save a marriage. Then
positively impact your relationship.
And then buy the book. Get the book. Get 2 copies when you get it. We give a discount for when you get more than 1 copy because we want you to read it together. We want to save 1 million marriages, enhance 1 million marriages, and encourage marriages to prosper. So our time is up.
And whether you're married or not.
Yeah, we got a chapter there for single people.
But I just think the value of communication is so important. You need to have that even before you get married. So we're dealing with issues after. But great if you get it straight before.
So let's go back to where we started. Shirley Strawberry. She maybe did not make a great decision on who she married. Now, I don't know the guy. I don't know how they got there. But I am impressed with Steve Harvey and his commitment to stand up for his wife publicly and make it perfectly clear. He didn't pull no punches. And, he cussed on the radio. He was cussing clear and bell that this woman is my partner, and all this stuff about we got a bad marriage, we bring them, that's lies, nothing but lies. We don't really address it, but I'm gonna address it today. She's in the foxhole with me. When she married me, I had nothing. Woo! When he said I had nothing, I lost my TV shows, and then he had $22 million in back.
So he's like, well,
22 million. He said, and she said, let's go to work, baby. And they went to work. Woo! 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 I love that. I love that. Bravo, Steve and Marjorie. I've met Steve. I've never met Marjorie. But man, bravo. That told my wife.
you're doing a lot of work in the foxhole.
The foxhole. We in the foxhole right now together. Does your spouse have your back? How do they make you feel? If they don't, talk to them. Show them this recording. Say, I need your back. I need you to have my back. I want to have your back. We in this together. We're going to conquer the world. Hey, our time is up. Thank y'all. We the Jolly. Thank y'all for all the kind. Thank you for having a great session. Thank you. Bless my wife, and I thank God every day. Thank you. Thank you all who've given on Instagram saying great session. Hey, tell everybody you know. Join us 9 o'clock on Monday nights. And if you watch it on, and if you watch it online, watch it on Jolley Marriage Show on YouTube. We are out. Go get the book. Love you guys. Love you, Scarlett. All right. Love her. Oh, shout out again while I'm wearing the hat. NYPD. We're commemorating and we're just giving such love and honor to the New York Fire Department, New York Police Department for the heroic work 22 years ago when 9/11. I cannot thank y'all enough for your bravery and your valiant, heroic work. We love you. We honor those and the families who lost loved ones. We worship the God who is able to give you peace in this tough time.
Amen.
Hey, see y'all later. Our time is up. Time for us to go out with my music from my one-man show coming back the end of this month. Here we go. Close to You from my jazz album.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.